I think by the year end, it's not unreasonable to think 7,000, even 12 or 15,000 could happen. Because I think Ethereum is having its Bitcoin 2017 moment this year.
Thomas Tom Jong Lee is an American financial analyst and strategist, co-founder and head of research at Fundstrat Global Advisors. In addition, Lee is the chairman of Bitmine Technologies, a mining company that has made significant strides toward accumulating 5% of Ethereum reserves. Watch this video until the end to learn about his predictions for both Ethereum and Bitcoin, as well as the reasons behind them. Before we start with the video, a quick reminder that you can buy Bitcoin, Ethereum, and over 500 other cryptocurrencies on the Bitpanda exchange. Bitpanda also now offers margin trading with leverage positions up to 10x on selected coins and tokens. The tutorial link and the sign-up link with bonuses are provided in the video description.
I think Bitcoin has now become accepted enough that it's part of people's steady buy. I think there's plenty of now traditional finance investors stacking Bitcoin, and they're buying it every month. And I think that's why it's holding steady here. And to me, for Bitcoin really to make its next quantum move, I do think it's dependent on global liquidity. And so the Fed, as you know, is on hold. But the reality is, at this point in the cycle, the Fed should be easing. It's a question of when. And if they begin easing in the fall, then I think that's going to coincide with Bitcoin making a step function higher. And I still think 200 to 250,000 is possible.
So 200 to 250,000 by the end of the year. After I spoke to you, Rick Edelman joined me on the show. His prediction was 500,000 by 2030. It feels like yours might be a little bit more bullish than that if we look at the next 5 years.
If Bitcoin gets to 500,000, and we're talking 5 years from now, gold's network value probably is close to 27, 28 trillion. So he's just saying Bitcoin will be valued at 1/3 as digital gold, merely as digital gold. And so I think that's conservative. I mean, I think it won't take 5 years for Bitcoin to supplant the network value of gold. So that's why I think when you see something like Cathie Wood at ARK predict over $1 million for Bitcoin, that to me, 5 years from now makes more sense.
Where do you see Ether price going, say, the end of this year, or maybe even the end of this cycle?
So just like saying, give it credit for where it is a year ago versus a year ago, it should be 6,000. But of course, there is going to be a lot happening between now and year end, including, other Ethereum treasuries starting to buy Ethereum plus Bitcoin goes up. So I think by the year end, it's not unreasonable to think 7,000, even 12 or 15,000 could happen. And of course, from there, then in 2026, the Fed starts to follow through on what it should be a dovish pivot. So central bank liquidity is rising. And so Ethereum should build upon those price levels. I think that an Ethereum treasury company wants Ethereum to be flat for the next 5 years and then go up a lot. But it's probably not. It's probably just going to have a step function. I think Ethereum is having its Bitcoin 2017 moment this year, where Wall Street is finally getting behind ETH. Bitcoin was 1,000 in the early part of 2017, and it was until August. And then it went straight up. I mean, literally went straight up. Ethereum represents the world financializing onto the blockchain, which is not Bitcoin's goal, and the AI world, creating basically a digitally native way to bridge the real world and, digital security. So that's, to me, why someone wants to own Ethereum treasuries, because I would buy MicroStrategy if I was looking at this. And by the way, it is a granny shot in the Fundstrat ETF. But the reason is that MicroStrategy is growing your Bitcoin holdings every day. So you're going to outperform Bitcoin. Ethereum treasuries are really the only way for a US equity investor to get exposure to Ethereum unless they're buying ETH directly or an ETH ETF. But if you're an institution and this is one of the biggest themes, I don't think they're going to just say, well, in my fund, my $50 billion large cap fund, Ethereum's the biggest trade, so I'll buy JP Morgan. They might, but they're better off saying, how can I be directly exposed to Ethereum? and they can't really buy an Ethereum ETF because that's not within the parameters of their fund. So I think, to me, the US equity market professional investor looks at Ethereum treasuries as really the only way to get exposure to ETH as a macro trade.